So the next step in my brake job for this truck that keeps having binding issues is to replace the master cylinder. So right now I'm going to take it apart so that I can take the master cylinder back for the core charge. So for this job you need a 10mm wrench, a 12mm socket for the bolts that hold the master cylinder to the brake booster, and maybe some pliers. So you'll want to have some type of bowl or something to catch the brake fluid, because I'm sure it'll come out. Or I could use some type of pump and pump it out of there probably, but I don't have one, so. So there's 4 12mm nuts that you take off. Try not to kink the brake lines when you're moving it out of the way. So there, the master cylinder is off, and I can dump the fluid out and take it in for a core charge. So I'll do that now. So down here I have the brake line that goes to the both front calipers. So what I'm going to do is blow some air in there and let it come out of the caliper so I can try and clean out anything that might be stuck in the system. So on the caliper itself I have a little canister with a hose, and I'll break the line, or break it open, and I'll try and apply some air on there and see what happens. So I did get some out of the line, so now I'll do that on the other side. So here I got a remanufactured master cylinder. They made me keep my original canister with the remanufactured one, so it's got a bunch of junk in it. Some of the newer ones looked like the pictures showed that they had a different master cylinder, or a different canister with it, a new one, so that kind of disappointed me. Maybe I'll rinse it with some solvent. So I'm using some carb cleaner because it evaporates, so just spraying it in here to try and get that black goo out. once you get that cleaned up some, there's a little screw on here that has to come out. This one happens to be a Phillips. And then the master cylinder pushes on there with the extended piece sticking out, going outward. And then the screw goes through the center of the boss there. There. Now you can probably pull out the stops. Make sure you put the filter back in if you took it out. Now the master cylinder goes back on the 4 studs that are sticking out. So I left it still has the bar in there, the shaft. And then the 4 12mm nuts go back on. Don't forget to put the line bracket on. And once you get the bolts on, done up, and you put the brake hoses back in. Make sure you put the one that goes over the top of the booster into the back port, and the other one goes in the front port. I'll clean some of the goo off of the cap and whatever you call it, gauge cinder. And I got the good old Napa brake fluid, so I'll fill it up. I put it a little fuller than full so that it can drain down whenever I bleed the brakes. So now it's time to go get one of my kids to help me bleed the brakes. And that's the standard process that we saw in the other video. So now I got the master cylinder installed, the canister on, cap and the wires hooked up and the hoses hooked up. The brakes are bled and the wheels are back on. Now the tire spins nice and freely like it should on both sides. So this one's touching, this one spins a little freer, I guess. So hopefully I still don't have the problem that I'm seeing. We'll find out after I give it a test drive. Thanks for watching. Time to get this thing out of here, hopefully for the last time. Don't forget the hubcaps.